Reminder, this session is being recorded just so we can repurpose for our YouTube platforms and our other BellaNaija Style platforms. Welcome everybody. I'm really excited for today's conversation because we have a diverse group of influencers and creatives who are going to speak to us about influencer marketing and the creative industry and the challenges they've had and so much more. I'm really hopeful that this conversation will be as exciting as I have pictured it in my head. So yeah, welcome everybody. I'm just gonna quickly introduce myself and basically what we're doing. So my name is Mary Aduro. I'm head of content, BellaNaija Style, and throughout the month of March, we have been celebrating Women's Month, celebrating women in the industry. Hi, Poede. Hi. Okay, so throughout the month of March, we've been celebrating women with our BNS Women's Month, and it has been awesome just pulling together a group of amazing women, amazing Black and African women who are doing great things in the industry and celebrating them and celebrating the work that they do. So today's conversation is tagged Creatives Who Choose to Challenge. And that's because we've pulled together 4 amazing influencers and creatives from different industries, beauty and fashion, but their platforms are all different. Now, they all preach the same thing, the same message, which is positivity, self-love, progress, and also they look fabulous while doing all that they do. But also they're all different. They have their own individuality and they bring that to their content, and it's really inspiring to see how they do the things that they do and how they're able to be successful doing all these things. So I'm just gonna give a chance now to our speakers to introduce themselves, and I'll just stop talking now. Okay, so we'll start with Miriam and then Nsendo and Poede. So let's just go in that order. Hi, Miriam.
Hi, thank you for having me. So my name is Marin Unja. I am a fashion and beauty content creator. I'm Liberian and Nigerian. I was born in Liberia, grew up in the US, and I now am in Toronto, Canada. You really did a great job of kind of like summarizing and talking about what we all do in terms of like wanting to empower and inspire our communities. So that's definitely a big thing for me. And the way that my platform kind of is that I know that I've had a very unique journey and a unique story, and I embrace that, and I'm vulnerable with that, and I invite people to join me on my journey and also to connect and I hope that through what I do, it inspires people to embrace and celebrate their own differences and their individuality, and that it just feels like a good, safe, positive community and a place to be on the internet. So that's really my purpose.
Thanks so much, Marianne. I'm really always inspired by your posts, and oh my god, you're so pretty. I really love your page. It's so colorful and beautiful, and I always feel so feminine when I'm on your page. I'm like, okay, I'm going to save this and try and recreate the picture, but I just never have the guts to do it. Okay, hi, I'm Sendo.
Hi everybody. My name's Nsendo. I am body positivity influence. I think that's what they're calling it now.
Yes, honey,
yes. And also a fashion lifestyle as well. I'm from Nigeria, but I grew up mostly in the Caribbean. And I currently live in the United States. Just like Marianne said, you did do a good job in kind of summing up, like, in regards to, like, just what we do individually, me particularly. I preach a lot of, like, accepting yourself as it is and just, like, really enjoying life and just being audacious with the way you love yourself. For me, anyway, my platform started on just, like, you know, making just random videos and just, like, me loving myself and just wanting to share that. But now obviously it's morphed into something big, and I'm definitely grateful. Yeah, that's about me.
Definitely love your vibe. I must admit that I recently just found your page, but Your energy, my goodness, your energy. I'm just like, wow. Wow, really, like every video. And then I also found your TikTok, and I'm just like, wow, nah, this energy is something else. And I really love that. I love the positivity that you exude. I mean, it's the right pick me up if you're just feeling down or something. Watch one of, and honestly, guys, if you're feeling down, just watch one of her videos, and she would like spiral you up with her words. Just trust me. I love what you do. Well done. Hi, Poa Day. And since she's on the move, Poa Day is one mega influencer whose platform has kind of transcended from that CCA with outfit inspiration for the everyday woman to now motherhood and that fly African mom. And I really, really like her content because I'm like, okay, when I get to that level too, I want to always be this stylish and this hot as a mom. So I really, really love her content, and I really love what she does in terms of her beauty. And she works with a lot of great brands, and I really love how she's able to translate her content to be very relatable and she's very, very approachable and very, very sweet. So yeah, I'm excited because this conversation is with so many diverse people. And okay, we have one final speaker, Mamisa, who's joining. Hi, Mamisa. Hi, how you? I'm good. Okay, so we're just introducing ourselves. So can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I'm joining in from rainy Geneva, Switzerland. So I go by the name of The Color Me Ma'am. I don't know whether you might have had a chance to look at my page. Basically my motto is art with the neutrals and in with color. When I moved to Geneva, I've been living here now for about 13, 14 years, and I'm always quite horrified at how everybody is always wearing black. Like, everybody's so miserable. I'm like, well, why are you doing that? It's already cold enough. It's gray because it's winter, and then you're also wearing black. Well, stop that. You want to maybe wear like a green pair of shoes or maybe like an orange jumper just to make yourself a little bit happy. And I guess it comes a little bit from I'm from West Africa as well. I'm from the Gambia originally, and we at home we dress up and we try to be happy. We don't all walk around looking so miserable. So I think I had a little bit of that influence in me, and so I still started then promoting that on my page because I was like that anyway. Even on a general level, that's how I dress. And people would always say to me, "Wow, that's so beautiful. Where did you get that? How did you put that together? How did you like color combination?" So then I decided to create the Color Me Ma'am to then promote color, and it's not just about color, but also about confidence. Because I do think that here in Europe, a lot of the women are actually, it's almost as though they're afraid to stand out. Like, you don't want to be too seen, So as a matter of fact, the wealthier you are, the more subtle and behind the scenes you're supposed to look like. And I'm saying, no, you don't have to be confident, be bold, stand out, speak out, just be out there. And so that's what my page really represents. So I'm representing courageous women, I'm representing power, and I'm saying, do you know what? It's okay to stand out as a woman in your color, with your words, and you as a woman. And so that's me, The Color Me Ma'am. So I'm really excited to be here and talk to you and share some of my experiences. So thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for joining in. I love your energy. This is my first time hearing you speak, and I really, really love your energy. And I love your page, by the way, very bright and colorful and in your face. Like, you're going to take this beauty. Like, you're going to take this beauty in. I love it. Thank you all so much.
Whether you like it or not.
Exactly. I love it. Thank you all so much for being a part of today's conversation. I'm so happy, and I'm ready to delve right in. Okay, so the conversation is about creatives and creators and influencing. I'd like to start with Miriam. I know you started your journey as a model, and you've kind of switched into influencing, and I don't think you switched intentionally. It might have been something that just happened to you because of the huge platform that you have. But I'd love to talk more about your journey as a model, and especially as an albino model. I'd really love to talk more about that, and the journey of self-acceptance, and then being able to share your uniqueness with the world. How did that start for you, and where did it come from?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's definitely a really great place to start, because for me, that's kind of the beginning of my story. Basically, when I was growing up, I didn't see anybody that looked like me in media. I always knew I loved fashion, I loved music. I wanted to be in media somehow, but it was kind of disheartening that I would never see anybody that looked like me. And so for me, that was kind of an inspiration, like a launching point for me to say, well, okay, it's kind of that be the change you want to see. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try and see if I can do this. And I moved to Toronto about 10 years ago. And at that time, there was I didn't know there was nobody in the industry that looked like me. Toronto is a very conservative kind of market. They're not really into taking risks. So for me and somebody that looks like me, it was actually a really big challenge. I remember I just spoke about this recently on my Instagram and on my TikTok, that when I first started modeling, I could not get an agency to see the potential in me. I would be like, even when there was some people coming up, like there was Sean Ross and there was Deandra Forrest, and they're both from New York, which is obviously, way more accepting and more open to new ideas than Toronto was at the time. And so it took. And honestly, the funny thing is, my first big modeling opportunity, which was I was one of the faces of the Uniqlo Canada launch when Uniqlo came to Canada. It was very much like a fluke situation, because I was on set as a stylist.
Oh, wow.
The art director, I was working under the lead stylist, and the art director and the client was there, and they were like, "Why are you here back doing the rolling racks?
Wow.
Why are you dressing the models? You should get in the front." So I was like, "Oh, okay, yes, let's do it." So, and then that ended up being on billboards and things, and I think moments like that were kind of really serendipitous, and they started to get my foot in the door more. And then I ended up working for, I did some things with Nike. I did a big campaign with Nordstrom, and so modeling it grew, but it always kind of still had a bit of a plateau, I'll say, because at the end of the day, I don't think people were still ready to see me as a full-fledged model that could do a lot of things. A lot of times people would pigeonhole me to diversity campaigns or things like that. And it was becoming a bit frustrating. And in the same respect, while I was waiting for modeling to fully mature, I was getting into blogging, because I was also doing styling, and I was like, I love to share my style, I love to share my voice. Why don't I get into blogging? And it's funny, because you were kind of mentioning, was it kind of by chance, or was it more intentional?
Yes.
Content creation. And for me, it was definitely intentional, because as I was waiting for the rest of the industry to catch up to me and what I thought modeling could be like, blogging was picking up, and the internet was getting it faster than the industry was getting it. And I started to pick up things. I did a campaign with Hershey's, and I started doing some other cosmetics things. And it ended up being that I was making more money and getting way more traction as a content creator when I got to use the full breadth of my personality rather than just my looks as a model. And that was what ended up being the thing that was creating success for me. So I noticed the pattern. I saw the opportunity, and I pivoted, and I won't say I haven't looked back. I still love to model, but my focus is where the people are, where the opportunity is. And for me, that's been using my full personality, my full voice, and being a content creator.
I absolutely love that. Paude, I would love to just come to you and ask, I know that you definitely didn't start off as an influencer or a creative. You were basically just living your life as an aviator, as a nurse, doing all the things you're totally good at, and then influencing just came to you. So how are you able to then draw the line and say, okay, I'm now an influencer and I'm going to start creating more intentionally? as opposed to, oh, I'm just posting regular snaps on Instagram and just having fun with it? Was there ever a point where you were like, oh, I'm now going to take this more intentionally?
Yeah, very, very. For me, it started way before Instagram. And I mean, like, as a child, my first TV commercial was when I was like, what? I wasn't a child, like 18 years old, but I did my first calendar at like 5. So,
Wow.
so I've done. When I was in uni, the time was, oh, I wanted to go for Miss World. So even when I won the pageant for but along the line, I noticed something that people like what I wear. People like things that I do. They want to know what brand are you using, what perfume are you wearing, what just being helpful.
A little bit of input, more than a question. We had a room with Mamaisa the other day on Clubhouse, and we had some professionals, people who actually their job is to work for brands and hire influencers and negotiate with influencers. So I just wanted to say that everything you're saying is incredibly valuable, and thank you for sharing this information, because like Mamaisa said, some people don't share it and they keep it for themselves, and that's not good. We have to share the love. So I really appreciate all of you for doing that. It's so important. And I wanted to say that these girls that were with us from the brand side, they're my friends. So they were talking to us like, from a friendly perspective. They would talk to influencers from a professional side, and they said, we're going to try to lowball you every time. Don't let us. Yeah. Do not let us, we're going to, because we have to answer to the brands, to the executives, which they're not creative people, they're like some suits sitting behind a desk, and they're going to be, oh, what's this girl doing? Just take a picture of it,
Yeah.
So they're going to try, she has to answer to her boss, and like, it's a whole, she's like, no, always ask at least 30% more than what you would settle for, because it's a negotiation. So don't let us lowball you, So I just wanted to add that, and thank you so much. Love you all. Mamais, I love you.
Thank you. Awful Ada, she's the best. She does post amazing videos.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to say I love all of your feeds. They're so unique and so beautiful, and I'm going to follow all of you. It's lovely to be part of this conversation. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Anna, for the lovely words. Really appreciate you being a part of this conversation. Okay, to kind of round things up, I'm just going to ask, and I feel like everybody, what is the hardest part of being a creative in your different locations, but in 2021? What's the hardest part of being a creative, being an influencer in your industries? We have Paude, you can go first. That's fine.
From my end, I think it's other influencers undercharging. That's the hardest part. I've had to turn away so many deals from companies that are reputable companies. But it's perfectly okay, because so far I've done that, and those people who pay for value will always come by. So, but it's not easy when every other person will take the certain amount and you take that amount. At some point it will just look like, oh, this person is not getting any jobs. But
right.
People are getting jobs. So it's not really about the quantity of jobs you get, it's about the quality of jobs. You have to keep that in mind. It will help when you place a certain value on yourself that I'm not pretending to anyone else. So yeah, that's the hardest part, having counterparts that understand.
I mean, to be honest, this particular thing, we've discussed it so many times within the past 40 minutes, and I'm just wondering what is the way forward, because the truth is there'll always be someone who's willing to take lesser, which would definitely weaken the negotiation power of another influencer. So what's the way forward? Are we going to try to form some sort of communities together to discuss, like, okay, we're not going less than, $200 for an outfit post, or we're not going less than 100K for this? So what's the way forward, really? What do you think?
I think the way forward is to put your feet down no matter what, because I've had counterparts where we're negotiating and then they're like, well, one thing I like about you always put your feet down, but anyways, I'm still going to go with what they're offering. And then I walk away. So yeah, in the end, try to put your feet down. Because if brands know you are this person, they know not this person, and work on your craft, work on improving your craft, work on giving that value-added service that they probably won't get somewhere else. So yeah, work on creating more value, and just don't listen to the noise. Well, there's noise where I am, but don't listen to the noise.
I love that. Thanks so much, Kawade. Who wants to go next? Msendu?
Yes. I think. Can you repeat your question one more time, please? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I just asked what is the hardest part of being an influencer in your location and also in 2021, because I feel like there's so much that has changed. There's so much information. There's so many apps. There's Clubhouse, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's Twitter. What's the hardest part of being an influencer right now?
I think for me, it's finding genuine people. I'm somebody who I value relationships a lot, and I never ever want to make, just something that just a relationship with somebody that where all I'm thinking is like, this is what I'm going to just get for you. I never want to do that. And because I think genuine relationships will take you a lot further than just like something that, oh, let me just be friends with them for just this. Because then they'll go in rooms and they'll remember that, oh, this person, they do this. I think it's making genuine friendships. And I think it's difficult because Kawade mentioned earlier, like there's some people who would want to, I think it's Kawade or Mamisa that mentioned people who want to sabotage you and you just don't know. And I think just like I'm trying to just navigate that. And for me, that's the most difficult thing right now.
Okay. I think it's also very similar to poetry and, putting your foot down to getting what you want. Okay, this is what I want and I'm not going back on my word. Thanks so much for sharing, Sendu. Miriam?
Yeah, so for me, I think my biggest challenge right now is, you kind of touched on it when you were like, there's TikTok, there's Clubhouse, there's so many platforms, and I think that it's growing, and trying to get on these emerging platforms and create a presence and carve out a lane and still deliver like your authentic self and my authentic content to the people who've grown to expect it, but still growing at the same time. That's definitely a challenge, trying to figure out how to do all of those things and do it still at the quality that I expect from myself. And then, just doing all those things and still having a work-life balance and making sure that I get enough rest and making sure that I also, nurture my personal life and myself just from like all different levels, just outside of, the professional. So I think that that's a challenge, but that's kind of life and I embrace it and I just try and kind of force through the best I can with that.
Thanks so much, Marianne. I completely agree. There's so much to process, and I think there's also a pressure from people saying, oh my god, I just started my TikTok yesterday and now I have 3 million followers, yay. It's like, okay, yeah, good for you, but like, yeah, I'm just trying my best out here. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Mamisa?
Yeah, so that's actually, so I have a couple of challenges. The first one is related to just being an influencer in general. The second was related to, I think, the environment. I think being on lockdown this past year, and I started getting more serious my influencing from last year. It's made it harder for me because, well, first of all, like, I don't know, I just feel like you can't really go to like the various fashion shows and meet influencers. Like the social part of it is kind of not there. You kind of have to work it out by yourself because everybody's isolated, right? And I also kind of feel like, how can I even come up with interesting stories when I can't even go anywhere? What am I supposed to talk about? You know, at least before when you could go here, go there, you do a story. I'm here at this restaurant, I'm eating this. You go and travel there, you pick a story. That was like your stories about you being at home. Like so
Exactly.
So what can you talk about? You know, so that's one challenge. This lockdown has not helped, but that's for everybody in all aspects, right? So that's not necessarily related to influencing. Then the second part, which I find is generally with influence, that I find the competition. I don't know. I don't know how others feel, but like, you know what you just said just now about how the so and so be saying, "Oh, I just had TikTok, I've got 3 million followers." I must admit that as an influencer, I do feel the pressure sometimes. You know, I feel the pressure to create good content. I feel the pressure. Like I make a post and I'm like, "I hope it goes well." What if it doesn't go well? You know, it's like, for God's sake, get a life. You know, and then sometimes you think you're doing so well. Oh, my fantastic feed, great post, and you go to someone's page and you're like, oh my God, I'm such a loser. Look at what this person is doing. Look at these reels. How did she do that? How did she make her face turn 180 degrees in 2 seconds? You know, people are doing so many amazing things. I don't know whether others feel like that, but sometimes I really feel like the pressure is high to constantly perform and constantly do well, right? And it's almost a little bit like a mini celebrity, because I know celebrities go through that, right? Where they all of a sudden get up and just kill themselves because they couldn't take the pressure. I never could understand it before, but now that I have like a public kind of public face, I get it, you know, because you're afraid that you're gonna maybe mess this up, and then sometimes I feel like it's very easy to get burned out if you're not careful. And my husband tells me all the time, like, treat it as a job. It is a job. You can't be on your phone all day, right?
Yeah.
Like, you should have your hours, like you are like a job, like from 9 to 5 and 5 turn off. But I'll be like having dinner, and if someone sends me a comment, I'm like, oh, I better write back. Oh, thank you for that comment. I was like, well, why do you have to write now?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I don't have to write now, but I just do, you know. Or someone's made a post, and it goes ping. Someone's made a post, and then you go to their page to see what's going on. And as soon as you get there, then you get a message. You go, just find yourself going crazy on this platform. So I am trying to find a way, and I would love to hear other people about how you can do this, but at the same time still have a life and not go completely like mental, and be able to separate yourself and this platform and treat it as a job, because we're saying that it's a job, right? We're saying brands should pay us as professionals, so then you should treat it as one, shouldn't you? So I would love to hear the perspective of others, but for me, I have to say that is one of my challenges.
Thanks so much, Mamisa. Does anybody want to address Mamisa's question? Okay, Msendu.
I honestly, listen, I have a timer on my phone. I have a timer for my apps, for Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, a timer. And so what I do is I have a specific time that I'll go on Engage, obviously, you know, respond to people. But when that time is up, it just cuts off, and I'm just not on it anymore. And I think that's very important for me. Again, for me, I'm in a space where I'm trying to like wean myself off from constantly just like going, because then the iPhone just recently came out with something, I think a couple months ago, or maybe it's been maybe a year now, where it tells you like your screen time. And sometimes I'm very, when it tells me you have been on this thing for like 20 hours, yes, you know, really judgy, really judgy. So what works for me is just having a timer, and when that timer is gone, it's gone, and then I can focus on different things, like responding to emails. And you don't get sucked into just like, because obviously it's social media, right? When you do one thing, you're doing another thing. You're going, and you just enter that deep hole, and sometimes you just don't get productive. So just having that timer really helps me. So maybe you should, you know, try it. It really helps me.
Thanks so much, Msendu. To kind of just wrap things up, like I mentioned at the beginning, we're celebrating BNS Women's Month all through the month, and I don't want to sound cliche and say, "Oh, what's something you'd say to your younger self?" But I really would love if every one of the speakers could just say something inspiring to an up and coming creative, an up and coming influencer who's just like, this 2021 has just started in a weird note. I'm still getting brands trying to offer me 5,000 naira, $10, £5 to create content. What is one piece of advice that you think would really help to just share, please, just to round up the conversation? Miriam, Nsendo, Poede, and Mamisa. That'll just be the order.
So what I would say is, even like you said, speaking to your younger self, I think we sometimes, when we're kind of getting into our craft, we can be hard on ourselves. We can overanalyze, and we can want to just perfect. But a lot of times that inhibits us from acting at all. And so I would say, a lot of times people say, just jump out there, turn on the camera. The only way to get comfortable is to be doing it. And so just start, and you will look at it a year from then and be like, what was I thinking? That's terrible. But that's good, because that's growth. And so don't be afraid to feel like that and be uncomfortable and get into it, and you just have to just start the journey. You have to start somewhere. You have to begin. And so that would just be my biggest piece of advice, is to just figure out what are you passionate about, what inspires you, what makes you excited, what feels like your purpose, and just dive into that, and your community will find you, people will find you, and it'll go from there.
Thank you, Msendu.
I honestly relate to that 100%. I am such a perfectionist, guys. I always want everything, because my biggest thing is, like, the way people perceive you. You want to make sure you're coming out, you're doing the damn thing, you're looking good. And that stops me, that inhibits me a lot of times from creating content and being as consistent as I possibly could. And I think that's an advice that I'm even like taking now. It's because it's a journey. And one thing I've noticed is that the things that are not perfect in your eyes, are extremely spontaneous, are the things or videos or content or whatever that actually do well and resonate with people, because nobody's perfect, and that imperfection is something that people can definitely relate to. So I definitely agree with that, Marian. That was amazing.
Thank you so much. Party.
I apologize because where I was quite noisy, so you guys should please bear with me and transit, like I said, I think cancel on you guys. So what I would tell my younger self is, before you jump on social media, choose what aspect of your life you would like to share. Because whatever you put out is subject to criticism, is subject to all kinds of, misinterpretation. Not like I care, what people say, but sometimes you tend to be selfish in terms of, I'm an influencer, so all my friends and all my family should understand that, So I think when you decide, okay, what is the aspect of my life I'm going to share, whether or not I'm gaining followers or not, or whether or not it's trendy or not, content, I also see it as kind of a business. So it shouldn't be, carried away by trend, and you shouldn't let your followers determine wholly everything you should post. So that way, sometimes you can be driven to depression because you're doing everything for somebody else and not for yourself. Or not doing what you intended to do.
Yeah. Very, very powerful. Thanks so much, Poetic. Mamisa.
Hi. Yeah, so we're running out of time, so I'm going to make mine as brief as possible. I think the first thing I would say, which is very important, is be yourself, okay? And I think this is really key. People follow you because of you, right? They don't follow you because you're necessarily an influencer. That's what I found in my that you're real, that you actually interact with us, that you engage. You know, I think this is so important. Decide who you are, how you want to be, and then be that person. And don't let the other, don't be swayed, or don't let others confuse you or make you feel that you're less than what you are. Like I said, sometimes I go to pages and I'm like, oh my God, they're so amazing. But I always try to come back and remember me and who I am and what I can do. Always bring it back to you because there's too much competition. There are millions of influencers. You're always going to find someone who's going to do way more in one aspect or the other. But at the end of the day, you are you, and you know what you're doing and what you can do and why people follow you. And as part of that, which is very important, knowing yourself and knowing your worth, do not be accepting brands giving you some cheap ass shoes. Let them stay on their lane. Pay for it and stand your ground. So at the end of the day, that is my main advice. Say, be true to yourself and be confident and love yourself first, and then others will love you too.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much to all our speakers of today. This conversation has been super insightful, and I'm definitely happy that we recorded the session and we'll be able to repurpose for YouTube and our other platforms. I'm super grateful for the wonderful insights everybody shared. Marian and Sendo, Powade and Mamisa, you have been amazing. Thanks so much for joining us today. And guys, remember that all through the month of March, we'll be having Clubhouse conversations, tagged BNS Convos. You can follow us on Instagram and follow all the speakers on Instagram just so that you don't miss any updates. Thanks so much, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, for being fantastic. Fantastic as well.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.